Hey everybody, hope you're well. And I thought I would bring a quick message here in hopes that it finds you divinely where you're guided to hear it, um, depending upon how things are unfolding in your own path, given the course of this past year in particular. And I just felt called to share a little bit about how I've been traversing this past year and the lessons I've learned, the growth that has happened exponentially at a soul level, and the continued excitement, if you will, that I feel for really what's unraveling beyond the physical. What we often forget to consider in these times that seem very discordant and conflicting and chaotic and stressful, for sure. And I know that that's played out so differently in each person's life. And a lot of what has channeled through me in my writings, through my poetry in particular, has really been, foundationally around the lens in which we're seeing the world around us unraveling. And we all have a different vantage point depending upon our experience and our life journey, our readiness, our level of consciousness. And I know that it is landing differently on each person, right? So I guess what I wanted to do is just kind of share what I've noticed in my own self around this evolution. Just interestingly, because I feel like 2019 was really more of a catalyst for me in the precipice of what was coming in 2020. Of course, I didn't know it at the time, but I knew at the time in 19 I was hitting a really deep soul surging spot in my being, and I was really breaking down a lot of barriers. I didn't understand everything at the time. I was letting the energy move through me. I was alchemizing it. I was writing. I was bringing my voice forward. I was expressing and I was feeling, and I was doing a lot of those things at a more deepened level, which I had thought I'd already sort of kind of broken down some of those walls up until that point. But it's interesting, the residue that still stays there. And it's usually in those like last millimeters, I guess, or just like it's the last moment. Sometimes it's the hardest to push through. And when 2020 unraveled, there was even a more of like this intense surge. I remember doing a video like within a first week, I think it was, when everything was going global at the time, and I could just feel that's it. Like, I'm ready, game on, let's do this. I came here, I was born for this. Like, I'm prepared. Like, let's all, bring our forces together and serve the highest frequencies of humanity right now, because we're in need of it. And I knew it then, like I sensed it then. I couldn't have known necessarily that it was going to continue to pulsate the way it did. And I'm grateful for every little block and barrier that I had to continue to move through, because it only continued to strengthen and build the core of my own soul, right? Like that resiliency and that the warriorness, like that light within me that was just like needing that final drilling so like the light can move through. And I personally went through quite a bit of personal shifts last year, and unexpectedly, and at the same time I can look back with such great gratitude for what needed to happen then, because it only allowed me to expand deeper into my truth and into my abundant being of bringing my being for it, if you will, just my calling and my purpose, and really serving from a highest space of inspiration and empowerment and authenticity. And these are things that I've come to really know so much more intimately than I could have ever even imagined. And I'm sure there's more there. I know there's more there. And there's the continued drive and passion and desire to really step more boldly into that. And what I found, kind of coming full circle through all of this, is I've really allowed the courage of my soul and my heart to prevail. So a lot of that has come with being in my full truth and speaking my truth, but doing it from such a space of my own heart, knowing that we can all do these things with peace and compassion and love and diplomacy and honor and respect. It doesn't have to come, with this intense harshness. I know that there's a rebellious, like, warrior side in me. And if, rubber meets the road and I'm called in any moment that I have to blaze through something that requires that, I will do it. However, I do believe that if we need to, not even if we need, as we find the need to stand up, be in that space of truth, honor our soul, honor our heart, that we can do it with the highest vibration of our essence, and mirror that so that other people can learn and we can be examples. And when we do fub up, then we get to acknowledge that as well and continue to stay in that humanness and always be in the humanness of it. But it continues to ground us and reconnect us back into that physical experience, and at the same time aspire to continue to remember that we are beyond the physical, that we can still shine that light even in that space of our darkness or our intensity or the density that we might be feeling on an external level. For me in particular, I've written so much about these things, and a lot of it's my higher consciousness, my higher self, and just my divine connection to source. It's been really standing boldly in what I know to be true for myself, irrespective of what the collective says or the external says. And I'm moving through a really intense period of my life right now. Astrologically speaking, this is kind of the time in which I'm moving into what they call a Chiron return. And that is the wounded healer within all of us, which we all have within the fibers of our being. And it's just expressed differently based on the ancestral lineage and past and, kind of our soul trajectory, our contract that we came here to express and live out and live through karmically. And I will tell you, it's been interesting to watch so much of what I felt at times, and I knew all the way up until this moment was within me, but it's taken the events of this particular last year to really kind of push me through and really truly bring my voice and my presence and my calling into the space of service, right, for people, and doing it from that place that I know is balance, and there's that neutrality, and that there's the grounded discernment for what I feel to be true for myself, what I know to be true, what I know my rights are, and my God-given, gifts are in many ways, and also just through the expression of my breath, my being, my presence. And I'm speaking very personally here today, but really it's a mirror of all of us having this within us and not letting that be squashed out of any fear or any external projections that often happens in times of duality, if you will, and discord. So I hope this helps to serve you guys in the highest space, wherever your heart is today. Just really wanted to bring this as a message to share and just to expand into your own heart space. I'd love to hear how you've been navigating the last year and what you have found really being your highest awakening personally. Like, where have you seen yourself grow in particular through this past year on every level, energetically, spiritually, physically, dimensionally, vibrationally, on every level? It'd be really lovely to hear where people are, and where are you still finding any resistance in getting to that point of your deepest authentic self and truth, knowing that you are the sovereign being that you are, and that you are here to express that in its full uniqueness that it is. So would love to hear how you guys are, and sending my love and blessings in the meantime. And until then, namaste. All right, take care, guys.